Today we get an update from Airport Manager Bud Brialt on this episode of Barnstable Today. It is Thursday, March 10th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mantle.
Things to talk about today as we are looking out at beautiful blue skies, sunshine, thinking about spring, thinking about summer, thinking about JetBlue making a return to Barnstable Airport. Tell me a little bit about what we can expect for this. Is the third season now, right?
Third season. Right now the schedule is that they will be starting on May 12th, and they'll be doing what we call less than daily, and it'll be like 5 days a week. I believe it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and that will continue until June 16th. And then June 16th it starts daily service to JFK, and that daily service will go until I believe the Thursday after Labor Day.
Great.
And then that will continue on less than daily until the Columbus Day weekend, which is another extension from the previous year. So as you see, we're getting about a month additional flights in the preseason and another month postseason. So this kind of goes along with what we've been talking about before, in that JetBlue sort of progressively starts increasing their schedule based on their seating statistics, if you will. So if they continue to perform as well as they have been, which what we're hoping and JetBlue expects, then I'm hoping that the following year, fourth season, maybe we'll see a little bit more, or maybe even a second flight during the week. So
yeah,
that'd be great.
It's really fantastic news to
Right.
see. You know, not only I remember the first season we were so excited to see the planes come, and then at the end of the season, how excited we were that almost every single flight was full, and last year had a little bit of an increase. But this is pretty significant to have a month tacked on to the beginning and the month tacked on to the end, and something that's kind of moving into that shoulder season. I may actually take a flight myself this time around.
There you go.
So that's fantastic. So May 16th, you said that's going to be starting?
May 12th.
May 12th. May 12th. Wow, that's great. And I mean, what have we seen in terms of an impact to the airport? Is that something that, I mean, obviously it's been successful flights.
With JetBlue, you're talking about? I think it's a great impact, to be honest with you, because it makes us feel like a real airport for a change, instead of some of the winter doldrums and other things that are happening here at the airport. But I think it brings people in, it gets people from here off the Cape without having to go to Boston or Providence to be able to catch a flight. So we're trying to bring back the capability of this airport to be more than just a local air taxi service terminal, and get you out into the larger aspects of the national airspace system.
Exactly.
And then we were, I think the first year we were listed as their #1 blue city for customer satisfaction. I think last year, Worcester stole it from us last year. We're trying to get it back. And I think that one thing that will help us do that is Centerville Pie. And Centerville Pie is going to be opening up here sometime in the first part of April, I hope. So we're really excited about that. And I'm really hoping that they can become like partners with JetBlue and others and to build up their business. And I know that they're putting in bigger equipment, more equipment, so we're looking for good things to happen with Centerville Pie as well.
Absolutely. Well, you know, great to have not only a place to get breakfast and lunch and delicious pies at the airport, but Centerville Pie, of course, had got national recognition several years ago when Oprah Winfrey was here visiting, so it's got that kind of national name recognition. People know, hey, you know, I can come here. And I think that, you know, as we were talking about before we started the interview, is that people will probably come to the airport just because they want to come and eat some Centerville Pie.
That's what we're hoping. So combination of those types of things will start to bring people back. I know you're aware that Island Air declared bankruptcy back in December, and they just had an auction of all the excess equipment last week over at the hangars. And so we're kind of hoping that Rectrix will continue with their efforts to reestablish another air taxi service here at the airport to try to bring us back to where we were before. I think we lost a lot of folks to the ferry systems, which is fine, but I think we need to establish that balance between ferries and aviation so that we don't lose one mode of transportation to the other, so that we can continue to provide that lifeline to the islands using both modes of travel and bring some, business back to the airport. So we're hoping that that will occur. Cape Air has certainly come forward with additional flights, so they're picking up some of that. They're also picking up some of the air freight that was lost when Island Air went out. And so we're working to try to bring things back to some a new level of service, and anything that any of these airlines or air carriers will do would be very welcome. We're also hearing rumors about other people considering additional air taxi services, but seeing's believing.
Absolutely, always seeing is believing, and of course, certainly a big loss to not have that service anymore for the airport as well as for the people utilizing it. So nice to see that people are stepping up, but again, still have yet to close that gap and to fill the hole. So we'll certainly keep an eye on that. Bud, wanted to talk to you about some projects moving forward. Of course, we were out at the fuel farm earlier this winter. It's looking pretty good. I drive on the access road quite frequently, and it certainly looks like it's up and running. Where are we in that process? Is the fuel farm full yet, or is it still?
We're still. We got some delays over the winter time. We had some problems with a couple of our inspections that had to be redone, and so we're looking now to be in operation by the end of this month, end of March, and once we're in operation for about 30 days, then we'll start the process of removing the old underground tank. So we're hoping to get an inspection by the State Fire Marshal before the end of this month, and in order to do that, we'll be pumping fuel into those tanks for the first time.
Sure.
So we're excited, we're looking forward to it, and it'll be a welcome addition to the airport.
Great. And a couple of other construction projects?
Yeah, we have two more. We last fall we temporarily stopped taxiway Charlie renovations due to the weather. And so we'll be starting that again in the spring. We'll be putting a new surface on the taxiway, which is a sealant. It's a special sealant that should extend the life of the taxiway at least 5 years or more. And we're hoping, if it works good, then we're hoping to also do that on our next pavement project, which would be the resurfacing of runway 1533. So taxiway Charlie should wrap up in the springtime with that new surface, and at least the portion that was done before. There's still another portion that will be done with our next project, and that's the milling and paving of runway 1533, which, if we get the grants in the late summer, we'll know for sure from the FAA. We're hoping to start that in September of this year with phase 1. There's 8 phases, probably over a period of a year and a half before we get that whole project done, just because of how you have to do it in order to keep the airport open.
Absolutely, so important. But anything else exciting going on around here? So many things again to look forward to: JetBlue, Centerville Pie, the new fuel farm. Anything else going on at the airport?
No, not. I mean, we're working on budgets. We're working on our capital plans. I think we were going before the town council in April on 3 plans. We had submitted 5 projects for this consideration next year, but because of what's happened to our finances with Island Air, we've had to reduce that down to 3, 2 of which are 95% reimbursable by the federal government through the FAA and Massachusetts Department of Transportation Aeronautics Division. 1 project, which is basically painting, which we have to repaint our runways every year in order to stay certified by the FAA.
Sure.
And but sometimes we can mitigate that if the state puts out a statewide painting project, and then if they'll accept us as part of that project, then we can get it done a heck of a lot cheaper. So those are the only things that we're moving forward with. That you don't want to lose the opportunity to get those huge grant funds from the FAA, because those are few and far between, and you're using FAA what they call discretionary money. And if that source of funds dries up, we can't afford to do these projects on our own and without taking out huge loans, which we just can't afford to pay the debt service on. So we want to definitely move forward when those funds are available. So that's really about it as far as new things that are happening. But you never know at the airport. It changes daily.
It absolutely does, but never a dull moment. But
never.
I thank you so much for inviting us over here, and we look forward to continuing our interviews outside as the weather continues to get better.
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Bud Brielle.